I feel bad for the people back in the day.
Hi everyone. So today I wanted to share with you a product that I have had in my cabinet for a while, and it's really sad to say that I've never used it, but I wanted to share it with you today. I actually was looking for something else, came across this, said, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought it. But this, my friends, is a butter churner, and I would say this is a new school butter churner because I went to the girls club, and two things that we would always make was butter, and we would make it out of a game. Everybody would take turns churning, and then after about 15-20 minutes you would have butter, and then you would have buttermilk, which was amazing to add in a batch of cornbread. So don't throw the liquid away. Always use that buttermilk, and you can make you a pan of cornbread. We would also make at the girls club ice cream, and it was a ball. We would sit in a circle, we would roll the ball around, and after a while we would have ice cream to enjoy. So I got this for several reasons, but two reasons is because I love garlic butter, and I thought it would be cool to make my own and use the garlic butter over shrimp, which that's how I like to use it. And then I also thought, for those of you that have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, just children in general, this would be a great way to make it out of a game for them, so you could teach them where butter comes from, because a lot of kids may not know where different things in the grocery store comes from, but this is a good way for them to learn how it's made, where it comes from, how simple it is to make. And the reason why I call it the new school butter churner is because if you make it a game for them, this is kind of like a four-sided spatula. All you have to do is just have them turn. If you have several children, have them turn it. Take turns, have them turn it. After about 15 minutes, according to these instructions, you're going to have butter and you're going to have some buttermilk. And I think that would just wow them. I also picked up these little paddles right here so that you could shape your butter. And in the packaging, there were some recipes to try, because you're just going to get the butter and you can salt it afterwards. But if you wanted to make a variation of different flavors of butter, I personally want to try garlic butter. I've also made compound butters before with parsley and different type of seasonings, but this also gives you a good start right here with cinnamon and honey butter, Parmesan, basil, and tomato, chili and lime butter, and buttermilk fruit scones. So I have washed and dried everything out, and the product itself is just two pieces. It looks really simple. Again, it just kind of reminds you of a four-sided, let me get a little bit closer, a four-sided spatula that's connected. I'm not an engineer or anything, but this just turns. And then this really reminds you of just like a mason jar. And then again, you have your paddles. Now, when you are making butter, you want to start with heavy whipping cream at room temperature. So I have my heavy whipping cream sitting out. We're going to use 300 milliliters. That's what the basic guides tell us today. Basically, use 300 milliliters and just begin to churn it. As you continue to churn it, it's going to start getting thicker. And as it gets thicker, you just continue to churn, and then before you know it, you'll have buttermilk and butter. So let's go ahead and let's put this to the test. So we have our heavy whipping cream here, and the recipe states 300 milliliters, which is right at about 1 1/2 cups. So all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to pour our heavy whipping cream in the jar, and we are going to begin the process of making homemade butter. Now, as you get good with it or whatever and kind of figure out what it is or what type of butter you want to make, if it's like a compound butter or flavored butter, or if you just need to make a lot of butter, then you can make your adjustments then. But I am just simply following the quick recipe that they provided with the instructions here, just to make some simple butter. So let's go ahead and let's start. I wanted to stop really quick just to show you in the instructions, it said after about 2 to 3 minutes that it would get foamy. So I wanted to lift this up and show you. So far, so good. It is becoming foamy. It's not like, and it is getting a little bit thicker. If you can see how this is going up and down. I put 12 minutes on the, timer because it said about 10 to 12 minutes. So I put 12 minutes on there just to kind of get a gauge of how long it will take. So let's go ahead and I'll get finished, but I just wanted to jump in with the different stages. It is getting a little bit more difficult to churn, but not really hard, but you can tell as you are turning it, the different resistance that you get. Okay, y'all, so it's been about, I put the timer on 12 minutes, but I stopped and kind of briefed you all a little bit. So it's been about 10 minutes, but I wanted to show you real quick because the instructions did say after it starts to get really hard to turn, which that it is doing now, then to churn it for maybe another minute and a minute and a half, and then we'll go to the next step. But I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, y'all. Let me tell you something. Let me show you this and then I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, so it's starting to look and smell like butter, and buttermilk. You better get ready for a arm workout because I actually had to call my youngest daughter in here and get her to turn a little bit. So that's how I know. I'm not saying don't do it or discouraging you because I really like the little I really like it. I really like the butter maker, but it would be great if you could play a game with the kids. That's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to play a game because you by yourself, maybe you could sit down and kind of churn it. You can sit down and kind of churn it if you want to, but you may have to take a couple of breaks because it does get harder and harder as the minutes pass by. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for about another minute, and then the next step is to pour the buttermilk off, and I'm going to pour that in a glass and show you. Then we're going to rinse our butter and we're going to mold it. Okay, so I went ahead, churned it for a little bit over a minute, and you can pretty much tell it's done, but ta-da, that's really neat. This is neat and a great learning lesson. So I'm going to put this butter over in a container, and then I'm going to show you the buttermilk because it does say you need to like rinse and squeeze all of the liquid out of this butter. But you notice how we started off. Let me just talk real quick. We started off with just some heavy whipping cream white. We churned it for about a good 12 minutes. It kind of got hard to turn. We turned it a little bit more and the pressure eased up because it was now starting to form this ball, if you could see it. And it's like a nice lemony light yellow. It's no longer, you know, the white whipping cream. So I have my container here. I'm going to pour it in here and show you the results. So I told y'all it does not take a lot to amaze or amuse me. So we are done, and I'm just like amazed. Like it's the butter tastes really good. I still may add a little bit of kosher salt in here, but it tastes like butter. And just like when I went to the girls club, is it not amazing how you could take heavy whipping cream, and this is what it turns out to. So we use 300 milliliters, if you remember. So this is the buttermilk that you get, and I will be using that in some cornbread, which I think will be really good. So I'll put that in a container with a lid on it, and we'll make some cornbread tomorrow. But we just went ahead, and I got my spatula here. We just scraped everything off. And just a few remnants left. It does say it's dishwasher safe, but I'm going to go ahead and wash it in the sink and then also let it air dry. Now, the paddles that came with it that I showed you earlier, yes, they are for molding, but they are also for squeezing the excess water out of, or the excess liquid, because it's buttermilk. So it's squeezing the excess liquid out of this butter here. So the next step is to rinse the butter off real good. And I've washed my hands, but you definitely can do that, because you can just like pick it up like this, rinse it real good to get that excess buttermilk off of there. And then we're going to use our paddles that I showed you earlier to squeeze that excess water out and mold it. Y'all, this is so exciting. I feel like I'm at the girls club again. I hope you all can see. It seems like the lighting in here is getting kind of crazy. It is at night. You guys know it gets dark early, but as I'm looking through the camera, it's like, what's going on with the light? But let me get in here. What I'm doing now is I'm rinsing it. And you want to make sure that you use cold water to rinse it, because just think about butter, like when you do it cold, so that it can form and stay in its shape and not like melt. Now, it did suggest that if you wanted to, you could kind of put some ice up under here, but I think we'll be okay. Let me move this out the way, put this right here. I think we'll be okay, yeah, because it's really in a ball. We're just rinsing this buttermilk off. That's basically what we're doing, rinsing the buttermilk off really good, and we are molding it. So let me go ahead, turn on the water. It is cold. I tested it out a little bit. So you really want to rinse this off until the water like comes clear. So I'm just gonna like rinse it off, pour it off until my water is clear. Okay, so literally, y'all, I am having so much fun with this. So I've rinsed it out with cold water, and it's kind of like a patty. You know, it stays very, I don't know, it reminds you, it stays together, but what I'm going to do, kind of reminds you like a dough patty or something, like if you're making a pie or something. But anyway, I'm going to add just a little bit of this fine Mediterranean sea salt in here just to flavor it, because you taste the butter, but it's unsalted. I'm not going to add a lot, just a little bit. And then we're going to shape this up, and I'll show you our final results. So I'm about to be totally honest with y'all, and I am not making this up. I am seriously thinking about not even buying store-bought butter anymore. Like, this is so good. I folded in this fine Mediterranean sea salt here that I showed you, folded just a little sprinkle in, not a whole lot. And I thought, okay, you can garnish it with some rosemary. I got some rosemary growing right outside my back patio. But at this point, it's ready and it's good, y'all. It's really good. Like, you have got to try this. I bought the butter churner from Williams and Sonoma. I'll try to link it if they still have it, because remember I said that it has been a while, but hopefully they will still have it. But y'all, this is really good. Like, I don't know. I think I just might, because the 1 1/2 cups of heavy cream yields this little slab of butter, but it's good. Like, it's fresh, and y'all gotta try it. I'm not gonna hold this video up any longer because I feel like I've been too long, and I always tell y'all I'm not gonna be long. So this is it. I just got a little rosemary on top for garnish, but what I am going to do now, I have some saran wrap. I think you can also use plastic wrap, but I also have like a butter dish. I am going to put this in the dish, and It will store in the refrigerator for 2 weeks, but I don't know if this butter is going to be in the refrigerator for 2 weeks, because I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and mince me some garlic, add that in there, let the flavors marry. And I think tomorrow I just might have some shrimp with garlic butter, just because this is homemade butter. You do have to use your arm. You do have to use a little muscle power. But I'm telling you, if you want to get kids involved, they will love this. They will love it. And then after you make it, make up something with them in the kitchen. And this will really get them to learning where everything comes from. That's how I have taught my children. Now, they're not into gardening like I am. I think my middle daughter is starting to really try to get into it, but I've always let them know where things come from. So I have 1 1/2 cup of cream will give you this. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you like this video. And if you do, make sure you share it with your family and your friends and give it a thumbs up. If you are not a subscriber, we will absolutely love to have you as a subscriber. So make sure you tap the bell so that you can receive notification each and every time we upload a new video. Again, y'all, thank you so much for watching, and you gotta try this. And until the next video, bye-bye.